So does everything work now? Can you hear me? I don't know, like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. Everything works now. I clicked a button and it works. Like, that's it. I click a button and it works. And the button was just some random button. It doesn't even do anything. Oh, finally. Thank you so much for, okay. I'm sorry for not having sound. I'm sorry for a scuffed. Was the button mute? No. Like, the thing is, everywhere I look, the sound is on. And like, it's showing that a sound is on, but it's not doing it. All right. Welcome everyone to the 8th stream for CDPR's 20th anniversary live stream. Man, I don't like when things break. Especially when things break and they work. Like, everything was working fine. I test the stream, I turn on the stream, nothing works. But did you actually hear use OBS? What do you think I use, man? Of course I use OBS. Loose wire? Nope. No, man, it's just Windows. It's just Windows. Anyway. Hopefully the F-bomb didn't pass, because that means video is going to be demonetized, but I don't care for streams being demonetized anyway. Alright. Whew. Did you actually hear the intro to the stream? The music itself? Because that's interesting now. If you heard that audio and you didn't hear my voice, that's just weird. There was no F-bomb. Nice. Switching to Linux will not help you. Listen to me, buddy. Of course it does, because Windows is absolute. I won't swear. Okay, I won't swear. What time to start? So the stream is gonna be starting in 20 minutes. So today they're gonna be hosting Patrick Mills. He is one of the main people when it comes to the lore, implementing lore, and he was working with Mike Pondsmith to actually like fit the lore from like the tabletop RPG into the game itself. So the music was there. Must be my, I'll check stuff, but I don't like when these things happen. Let me just at least see if the stream is gonna be okay on the other front. Yeah, it's gonna be okay. So I don't know, like, OBS is great. OBS is amazing, but sometimes it just doesn't work. It just get a Mac. No, absolutely not. So one thing. Today they're not going to be showing anything. Nothing. This has been confirmed multiple times. And it was actually confirmed yesterday 2 times. So no patch 1.6, no nothing. No expansion, nada. Just keep that in mind. Before we get into the live stream, they won't be saying anything. Nothing. I want to repeat again, nothing. OBS is a strong learning curve. I've been using OBS for 6 years now. It's not. It just breaks. Like, you have to use it to believe it. The things sometimes just break for no reason. They just happen. You reset your PC, something breaks. Something on Windows breaks. I had a blue screen for 2 weeks and then it just disappeared. Never again. I tried doing everything. I did a mem check on my RAM on both of my slots 10 times. It just started working. That's Windows for you. One driver, one line of the code might go bad, and then everything is going to be broken. Yeah. Let's start. I have a major copium that something will happen. Man, continue with the copium. Hey, let's have fun together. Yeah, so I do apologize again for the bad or well, no audio at the beginning. Whatever happened, it fixed by itself. I was just clicking mute and unmute button on OBS and it started working on that. 1.6 has been denied on Twitter by community manager. Yes, for today the announcement is not going to be. So they're gonna be using this stream just to talk about, Cyberpunk. They're not gonna be using it to promote anything, which, I mean, look, regarding that, I want to get that sorted out. First off, I can understand, but at the same time, it would be cool if on this 20th anniversary live stream, especially because you're celebrating 20 years, that you have something which can get people interested, you know? And I don't know, that's just my 2 cents on that. I would be using the live streams, especially with the amount of people you get, to get people hyped up a little bit, you know, show something, say something, and then release something, alright? You know, because whenever you like, I mean, it's great, don't get me wrong, it's great to listen to everything they talk about. It's amazing because I love, you know, behind the scenes development talk. It's always you learn something new, you get an insight on something, but it's just, you know, you can spice things up a little bit by promoting some stuff, because at the end of the day, you're going to get people to talk. It doesn't have to be anything huge, it doesn't have to be anything big, just small things that can make, you know, people going a little bit. Man, I don't really care for another Cyberpunk Copium stream. When they announce something that will actually get me to care about this game again, I'll actually give it a fair shake, says the guy coming to the stream. Man, it's like, I like when people come to the stream and they say like, fix this, fix that. It's a wrong stream. It's a wrong stream, man. I'm not from CDPR. I'm not. Did they say nothing like new info? No, nothing, like no info. They're not going to share 1.6. They're not going to, I made a video yesterday showing all of that. Like they said it multiple times that today they're not going to show anything regarding patch 1.6 or the expansion itself. Pretty much. FF06B5, maybe we get a new hint. That could be. You know, this is like, that's one of the biggest secrets like Cyberpunk right now has. All of that, and with the Jinguji rings, honestly, like I've been going through the game a lot, like going through each part of the map, looking at stuff, scanning stuff, just to see if I can like locate where some clue can be, but there is nothing. I mean, of course I missed it because, you know, there is a bunch of other secrets that, you know, Cyberpunk has that we do know are not revealed yet, but it's gonna take a while, I guess. I know there is like, there could be one at the beginning of the game, so when you're in prologue, there is actually a secret no one has found yet, only in prologue. So that's like one hint, but I don't know if that's related to Mr. Blue Eyes. I know this Cyberpunk, but does CDPR mention anything new regarding Witcher 3 next gen update? No, nothing new. Yeah, they're not. Also, CDPR is not going to be on Gamescom. Also, if this camera freezes, just let me know. I'll fix it, because usually we have to have one camera freeze during like during the live. I mean, it's look. Avoiding Gamescom, it's not really avoiding, they have nothing to show on Gamescom. Like what, like I wasn't even expecting CDPR to be on Gamescom. Like what would be the reason for it? Because keep in mind, like they're not going to announce The Witcher yet, as we can see. Expansion pretty much the same. And I mean, you're not going to use Gamescom to promote that. You're going to do it on your own. We're going to use Gamescom for a new game, to show it like that, or maybe like, again, you're not going to have, like if they do the expansion in the first quarter of 2023, if that stays on the same date that they've said so far, then you're not going to have a presentation. But maybe if they delay again, because it's possible, it might happen then. Very disappointing if there is no, yeah, there is no, like, I don't know, like I'll have to, I'll write it on the screen. There won't be any announcement. Sadly, there won't be. Good luck freeze, yeah. It's a tradition of sorts, the camera freeze, yeah. So the thing with camera freeze, it's basically like I'm using the NVIDIA broadcast software, which now that I think about it, that software could be the reason why you didn't hear the audio at the beginning, because broadcast also has like noise cancellation filter, so it might have overridden like this microphone input and then did that. But usually when that happens, like OBS is not going to pick up any noise like on the microphone, which this one did. So that's kind of weird why it happened. Does Cyberpunk work good on PlayStation 5? Yes. Yes, I played it on PlayStation 5. It works nice. I didn't have a problem. The only like problem is, I mean, it's not a problem, it's just how things are. Like if you want full ray tracing, it's going to be 30 frames. If you don't want ray tracing, it's going to be 60. And I played in 60 through the entire time pretty much. Because I mean 30 frames, I don't know, man. That's Are you still unable to buy CDPR ADR stock? I don't know. To be honest, I have like people ask me if I have any investments in CDPR. Not really, like zero. I never actually even like I'm not much of an investor in that sense, so I don't have any investments in CDPR whatsoever. How many more streams there will be? So there should be 8, but they said something about next week having the Monster Slayer, the ARG game streams, so it could be that as well. I don't know, it was a little bit confusing that initially they said 8 streams and then there was like the Monster Slayer after that, so it's, yeah, not even full RT, yeah, not even full RT. What GPU am I using right now? I'm using 3070 Ti. Do you think they will be in the Game Awards? No, I don't really think so. Like, I don't think CDPR is gonna be going for any, let me see if the stream started, by the way. No, nothing. So I don't think CDPR is gonna be going for any conventions pretty much officially. Like, they're not going to have, you know, their presence there. And man, YouTube just keeps giving me the same suggestion that I have to lower my bitrate. They want you to use 4500 bitrate, which looks like, I don't even know, 144p. It literally looks like that. And then I put like 12k bitrate and it's telling me, no, use less for worse quality. Like, YouTube is so bad when it comes to streaming. Like, they really need to think this through if they want to have any competition with Twitch, like any. Because right now, streaming on YouTube is just awful, man. The experience is awful. Am I an anime fan? Are you only interested in edge runners? I am interested in edge runners. I am also an anime fan, but I don't watch too many anime. You're not going to see me watch the latest anime. I'm more of a... I like older animes a lot. I like older style of animation and graphics in a sense, like just the art style. So you're not really going to... I don't know, like it's been a while since it's been a while since I actually watched an anime. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Yeah, technically yes. Maybe YouTube needs to go to Unreal Engine 5. I have 3070 Ti as well, play Cyberpunk rated 1440p. Yeah, I mean, still, you know, Cyberpunk is not like, it's better, it's doing better now, but it's still like optimization wise, it's still going a little bit crazy, even if you have like a really good system. Did I play Elden Ring? Yeah, I finished Elden Ring. Great game. Amazing game. Like Akira old anime? Yeah. Yeah. That style. I like Dragon Ball Z a lot. Like that, Dragon Ball is probably the first anime I watched ever. Trigger did a really awesome job with Cyberpunk, yeah. Look at Saints Row. Yeah, I saw like Saints Row 2. Yeah. I played it a little bit. Gotta be honest, I don't know if that's only for me, but my Saints Row game kinda broke. I was having a really big issues playing that game, man. Like the bugs were kind of all over the place. My guy didn't know how to shoot. Like there were some animation bugs with Saints Row. I don't know. Like I'm thinking of actually doing a video on that, but I'm gonna play the game a little bit more. But I'm gonna be honest, I had a lot of bugs. A lot. In terms of gameplay, which one do you love the most, Cyberpunk or Witcher 3? It's just a different formula pretty much. I like some things from The Witcher, I like some things from Cyberpunk. Like, Cyberpunk missions and how they work, they really, like, I think they work a little bit better. But I mean, it's still, I don't know. It's still kind of difficult, like, to decide pretty much. It became broken? Yeah, I'm basically broken for me. I don't know, like, it just, the game, like, refused to start 2 times when I started, like, my guy was glitching out. Then a few times, like, my weapon in Saints Row was, the guy was having weapons like this, and I couldn't shoot. He just had a weapon glitched on his, like, arm or something. Do you ever playing Witcher 3 and Do runs past you and you start singing Do Re Mi? No. What? Saints Row is better customization than Cyberpunk. Well, yeah, you can upgrade the body a little bit better. Upgrade. You can shape the body a lot more in Saints Row, but yeah, that was always kind of a Saints Row thing. The countdown has started on their channel. Yep, let me just switch this. Just give me a sec. Wait, it didn't start. Did you just bamboozle me, man? Canada's bike is in the game? Yeah. I don't play for the writing. I don't know, man. An RPG has to have great writing. It's not Call of Duty. Yeah, I've been tricked. Yeah, you got me. I'll take an L for that one. So, I mean, it should be starting soon, to be honest. Like, I don't know why they don't have... Like, that's the thing. Why do they don't have a countdown? I have a countdown. Why don't they have a countdown, man? What's going on? So, Witcher PlayStation 5, do you think we can expect major graphical changes or minor? Like, they already said, like, you're gonna get texture upgrades. Let me see. So, texture upgrades. You're going to get ray tracing, HDR support, and frame rate, I guess, is going to be better. Oh, you're writing in Saints Row. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The writing, I don't know, like, the writing sounds just, man, I don't know, like, they had all of those amazing characters like that and then nothing. But to go back to the Witcher talk, so yeah, like, I don't know if it's going to be major or minor, like, with what they said, it could be major, like, you can have a better texture upgrade with better ray tracing, with full ray tracing, but it all depends, I guess, when it comes out, yeah. But also, going back to Saints Row writing, it's all over the place, man. It's all over the place. I don't know. It's weird. It just sounds like high schooler wrote it, to be honest. In some, like, I don't know. It's weird. Do I think next God of War will be worth pre-ordering? I don't know. Like, I'll pre-order it obviously for the channel, but I mean, as a YouTuber, I kind of have to do it to get, like, first into the game so I can have content on the time. Loading times and bug fixes. Weber said that he's fixed a pig spawn point after watching the stream, so bigger ones for sure. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I hope for the best that everything is good with the actual, like, upgrade. Hey, it's gonna be free as well. Nothing beats Saints Row. Yeah, Saints Row 2 is so good. Like, the writing in Saints Row 2, the cutscenes, just the fun in the game. It was like Saints Row 3 went nutty with, like, craziness, the things you can do. I think for me, Saints Row 2 was like the perfect balance between the two. 5 more minutes. Yeah, did they start? Let me see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna switch to the stream. Just give me a sec. Yep, they started. Just give me a sec to get this here. Do that. Do that. There we go. We're gonna start shortly, boys. Alright. I don't care if you don't have sound, man. I'm kidding. There's gonna be sound, don't worry. So, can everyone hear me with a microphone? Please tell me you can hear me with a microphone, please. Hope you're staying safe, man. You seem sweaty. Yeah, I'm sweaty because it's 300 degrees in my room, and I cannot start start the AC. So it's been kind of wild. When are we gonna get some real competition for GT Online? Honestly, that's gonna be a tough one. I don't know, like which IP can pretty much do it. Saints Row, if done well, could have had like the next GTA Online in a sense, but yeah, I don't think, yeah. AC interferes with microphone, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to hear just through the entire stream, man. But yeah. It's loud. Like this microphone picks it up, especially because it's like here. So it's going directly onto the microphone, and if it was maybe on the other side, then it would be great, but because it's like different side now. This better be a reason for a reinstall. Well, they're just gonna talk. So just to repeat one more time before they start. There won't be any announcements this stream. There won't be 1.6 announcement. There won't be expansion announcement. It was confirmed yesterday 2 times. Delamain looks like a hitman. Yeah. It was a cool story though. That was a cool quest. What kind of an AC do you have there, Airbus style? It's just loud, man. Did you watch the Lies of P trailer? Yeah, I saw like Gamescom. I'm gonna do like a video on the best like games I have on Gamescom. Like we've seen Dead Island 2 return finally, and it actually looks nice. Like the gameplay was having like all of those gruesome moments where you just go through the zombie and you have weapons. I don't know, like Dead Island 2 potentially might be amazing. Potentially. We don't know that until it's out. No announcements, nothing. Excited to hear Patrick talk about the lore. Yeah, I mean, he's the guy who knows his stuff about the lore, which I definitely respect. So he's going to talk about that. I wonder what questions they're gonna be taking, if they're going to reveal something for like those, you know, those secrets that they have in the game. Greetings from Philadelphia. Hey man, greetings to Philadelphia. Wouldn't mind if they keep it ultra secret and actually drop a release date for something. Nah, they're not going to do it. Like they would, like the thing with that, they would start prepping you for that announcement even before that, but they were not. They were not, and that's sad. I mean, as I said at the beginning of this, like, oh, here we go.
Everyone, welcome to the Cyberpunk anniversary stream. Ooh. My name is Amelia, and with me I have Patrick Mills, our French license.
Can you hear them, by the way?
Designer, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Yes, I'm super excited to have you actually here with me, so you know we can actually have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
Just a word of disclaimer: we are not actually announcing any news about the DLC, expansion, patch, anything like that. So
there we go.
You know, please don't flood the Twitch chat with questions about that. However, we will have some cool, interesting things to talk about. And as always, we're waiting for your questions in a Twitch chat. So please send them, and we have team ready to send them over to us for Patrick to answer for you.
Cool.
And I guess we can just start, right?
Started. You actually can send all the questions about the expansions and stuff, but the answer is we're not talking about it. So we saved you the trouble.
Yes. Okay. So the first question: what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Red?
Yes. My answer here, I was thinking about this. Spoilers. I saw some of these questions in advance. I was thinking about this, and I have a little bit of an obsequious answer, but it's also true. And that is what I think about when I think about CD Projekt RED is artistry and ambition, because I think that we always want to make We always want to make
Spoilers.
games that are have some amount of artistic integrity to them, that are also, you know, badass and cool and, you know, doing something neat. But then there's this other factor of ambition. When I first got here and first started working on Cyberpunk, way back 10 years ago, when I first started working on it, I thought, you know, this is amazing. We're working on a project here that is actually impossible to make. There's no way to actually make the thing that we're doing. And spoilers, we didn't make that game. We actually wound up making a different game than that, but it was exciting. It was very exciting, and it really felt like being part of something that I wouldn't see at a lot of other studios, especially at, you know, big corporate studios. You don't see that level of ambition all the way up. You have lots of ambitious developers, you have lots of ambitious ideas, but I think the corporate structure of some of those other studios, and not to say anything bad about them, but the structure of those studios tamps down on some of that ambition because of realities, you know, and I've always been impressed with CD Projekt's willingness to try to make something new, and that's why I'm still here. So.
Well, I'm glad you're still here.
You.
We're having so much fun with you know, working together about like,
Game audio is too
cool
loud.
stuff,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
behind the door.
We are working on some cool stuff that we will not be talking about.
Yes, soon.
Yes.
Okay, so you know, you're talking about ambitious and all that, but you know, it also comes with challenges, right? Was it super challenging to start your life here in Poland?
Yes, it was. I had actually, I mean, like honestly, I had never really left the country before. I'm from the US, if you couldn't tell. And I had never really left the United States before. I'd been to Canada, I'd been to Mexico, but not for very long, you know, just for short vacations and things like that. I had never been to Europe. I had definitely never been to Poland. Actually, when I first accepted the offer here, I had still never even heard the Polish language. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to learn Polish. I'm going to learn Polish. Of course, no problem. And I installed Witcher 2 with the Polish language pack because I wanted to know, like, okay, so let me hear, like, what Polish sounds like. I installed it, I loaded up Witcher 2, and right at the very beginning, and I thought, holy fucking shit, what have I gotten myself into? Oh my God, I've made a terrible mistake. Though to be honest, the other job that I was looking at the time was in Reykjavik, so I don't know if that would have been much better.
Nope.
I don't speak Polish still. I know a little bit.
You know a little bit.
I know a little bit. You and Alicia were talking the other day in Polish, and I knew what you were talking about.
Exactly.
I couldn't have participated in the conversation, but I knew you were talking about coffee. Like,
yes.
I knew that you were talking about coffee, and yeah, so I do know a little bit.
I'm pretty sure I heard you saying cześć.
I say cześć. I know. Look, I know the basics. I know the basics. But please do not try to have a conversation with me. It's not going to go very well. Przepraszam, nie mówię po polsku.
No, perfect.
See, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm told that I say it well enough that people actually don't believe me.
Same
sometimes,
for
so
me.
I try to put a little bit more American accent on it. Przepraszam, nie mówię po polsku.
I see some. We already have some questions, so let's maybe answer one of the first ones. From Hamler Drick, who did all the research for the song title mission names?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm happy to answer that. It was mostly, it was a combination. Well, I'll tell you what the process was. The process for that was, I had actually made some quests with song titles like that were the inspiration for those quests, and I thought that that would be really good. And there were some other quest designers that did similar things as well, and I thought that that would be a really good way of handling all of the quests because of the idea of cyberpunk having this musical quality to it. You've got Johnny Silverhand in your head, you've got punk in the name, which refers to more than just music, but it's related to music. And I thought that would be really cool. So we got suggestions from all the quest designers about what they thought would work. We took that list. Myself and the English adaptation localization team went through the list, and over a period of months went through and picked titles that we thought worked. We had certain criteria. The first criteria was that the song, the title itself was appropriate to the quest. Secondly, it should be a song that Johnny Silverhand would like or at least appreciate. And that also brought along with it the third qualification, which was that it be sort of era appropriate to Johnny Silverhand and like the alternate universe of cyberpunk. So we tried to limit it. We tried, when possible, to select songs that come from earlier than 1988. Didn't stick to that all the time because it was too much trouble, and there are some titles that work too well. Pyramid Song, for example, not 1988, but perfect quest title. So yeah, and yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was a really good.
I mean, the quest we are playing right now, actually Sebastian behind the screen is playing Dream On.
Dream
if
On.
I remember correctly, by Aerosmith.
The only Aerosmith song I actually like. Apologies to any Aerosmith fans. They're a great band, just not my thing. But I really like the song Dream On. It's a really good one. Not actually the song title that inspired this quest. I brought that in later. The song was not a song title, it was an album title. Blonde Redhead's Fake Can Be Just As Good was the inspiration for this quest, but I couldn't use that title because it was an album title, not a song title. Yeah.
While we're on the cyberpunk topic, how excited you were that our company will be working on cyberpunk games?
Extremely excited. Real talk. I was quite unemployed at the time, and I was trying to get back into the gaming industry after having left for several years to go get my degree. I was looking for places to apply to, and I saw that Bullets trailer, and I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. It's Cyberpunk 2020, which is a franchise that I knew from growing up. I have very fond memories of playing 2020. And then I saw this trailer and I thought, holy shit, like, I'm applying there. And isn't this the studio that made The Witcher? Which I liked Witcher 2 a lot. I'm sorry, the tone in my voice betrays that I had complicated feelings about Witcher 2. I really like Witcher 2. Actually, the first time I knew about CD Projekt RED, I was working at Obsidian Entertainment, and we were working on Neverwinter Nights 2 on the Aurora engine, and Witcher 1 was coming out on the Aurora engine, and I remember seeing the demo at E3, and we were struggling with the Aurora engine. We would sorry, Fergus, I'm going to talk a little bit about Neverwinter Nights 2. I don't think he's watching, we saw that, and I remember people around the office being like, that's all fake, that's all bullshit, that's completely fake, that's nonsense. And then the game came out. Actually, it wasn't fake, it was real. Like, they actually did manage to do some really interesting stuff with the Aurora engine, which I don't know how it was possible, but I'm also not a programmer. So.
Yep.
I just call it death magic.
It's
like,
death
for me,
magic,
it's all
for
death
sure.
magic.
Yeah, it definitely was. We actually got, because we were working, because it was published in the US by Atari, which Neverwinter Nights was also being published, so we got free copies of Witcher 1. I don't know that I would have played Witcher 1 if they hadn't given me a free copy, but I really enjoyed it. But it was Atari. Sorry, Atari. I don't think any of those people are still around. But they mixed it up. They sent us the boxes for one of their Chinese studios, and they sent our box to one of their Chinese studios. So my copy of Witcher 1 actually has a little case that's all Chinese characters on it. It's cool, though. It's neat. It's a cool
original
logo.
and
It's original.
unique.
Yeah, it's original and
limited.
unique, unless you're in China, in which case it's pretty ordinary.
Okay, so circle back to 2020. You are a link between company and Mike Pondsmith.
Yes.
How it is to work with such a legend.
It is great working with Mike Pondsmith. It's fantastic. I really like it. He's a really cool guy, and I feel like we've established a rapport and a bond over the years of working, and I'm just really happy to be able to work with him. During development, we would bring him out every once in a while to talk about things, to show him what we are working on, to get his advice and his feedback on things. Now it's mostly him and I having meetings every month or every other month and talking about the development of his project, CYBERPUNK RED, which you should get and you should play. It's a cool game, and it's sort of, a prequel to CYBERPUNK 2077 and a sequel to 2020. If you don't know about it, you can go get it at rpgdrivethrough.com. You can get the PDF version, and I'm just going to do a little bit of shilling for him. And we talk, and it's like meeting the old man on the mountain. You get to go and talk to the fountain where all of these ideas came from, and find out what books he was reading and what his influences were, and how he thinks that the franchise should be developed. And we share our ideas about things, and it's really great. And I think that we have a certain amount of mind meld going on, so it's cool. It's cool.
So
yeah, I actually have a meeting with him tomorrow. And I'm excited for it. Yeah.
There's a reason for it.
Rewatch the stream.
I will.
Tomorrow.
I will. So he would love that I shilled for CYBERPUNK RED. He would love that.
So actually, one of the questions I have about Mike Pondsmith, lore and stuff. So, for example, when you're working on a quest, or were you working on a quest, right? And the whole lore adaptation and whatnot. Were there moments that he was like, no, don't do it, I don't like it, or maybe he was like, yes, this is something I really enjoy and would like to see?
I have a funny story about that. I have a funny story about that. So we were keeping Keanu Reeves as a super top secret. We did not want that to leak. So even Mike didn't know about it. And Mike had come to visit the studio, and we were showing him everything that was going on.
I remember.
And he still didn't know about it. He still didn't know about it. We were taking him, meeting to meeting, every department showing, but he still hadn't seen the mock-ups of Johnny Silverhand. And to sort of keep that under wraps, even a lot of the concept art of him was using placeholder faces and things like that. I love this bit in the quest. It's good stuff. I love it. It's a cool commercial. Anyway. So we're taking him room to room, and then right before he goes to the art meeting where he's going to be shown the real pictures of Johnny Silverhand, the real images of what we want him to look like, Mike says, and I'm going to do a little bit of a Mike impression here, which I don't know, maybe won't go over well, but just whatever you do, don't make him brunette. He's blonde. I know you might want to change it for an actor or something like it, but there's no actor that's worth changing his hair color. And I'm like, oh shit. And so he goes and he leaves the room, and a little time goes by, and he comes back and he sits down and he says, well, okay, I don't like it, but if you can get Keanu, you should get Keanu, so it's okay.
I remember those meetings because
you were there.
I was actually the guide for him to get him for every single meeting to not be late, and together with Cody and with Lisa, right? I remember his impression when he actually notices Keanu, and he was like, "Ooh."
Suddenly he changed his mind, but he's right. If you can get Keanu, you get Keanu. So.
Yeah, so actually, this is actually connected to our next question. So I'm gonna connect it to the community question. Is there any favorite or challenge stuff that you did for CYBERPUNK 2077?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Is there any favorite or challenge stuff that you did in CYBERPUNK 2077?
Well, my favorite stuff in CYBERPUNK 2077 that I worked on is the stuff you're seeing right now, this quest. I'm extremely proud of this quest, except you just saw very briefly. Oh, no, this is fixed now, never mind. This was bugged last time I played it, but it's been fixed. It's been fixed. Patches are great. We love patches.
So what's the secret, man?
I love this quest. I'm extremely proud of this quest. And we can talk about it more if you want later, but
we can actually talk about it now. Is there any specific reason why we picked
You can go, Hisok, man.
Quest?
You can
we
leave
picked this quest
the stream.
because this might, I'm not a quest designer anymore, this might actually be the best quest I ever do. I really liked making this quest. Of course, now when I'm watching it, I'm seeing only things that I would change. Those decals are the same in room to room, and they should be different decals. But in any case, whatever, that's just, designer vision. I really I really liked this quest because I had a vision for a quest. I had an image in my head. I had an idea for a scene, for a conundrum, and I feel like this quest is exactly what I set out to make. And that's very often not the case. Very often you set out to make a story, you create the story, and then you find a lot of problems. And this one, I feel like the final version that you're seeing is very close to what I had originally envisioned for this quest. As I said earlier, the inspiration from this quest comes from a Blonde Redhead album title, Fake Can Be Just As Good, and I wanted to create a situation in a game, I wanted to create a story where some people are confronted by the fact that the lives that they are living are somehow a lie, and then they have to choose, or the player has to choose, whether or not to continue living in that lie or not. And it evolved from there. You know, it grew. For me, that's how I tend to make quests and how I design a story. Is you come up with an image or a feeling or a scene or a conflict, and you just sit on that and see where it takes you. This quest had a lot of challenges, and for most of the time that I was developing this quest, I had no idea whether or not it was actually going to work or not. The main problems are that, one, it's a mystery. And when you're doing a mystery, you never know, because I already know the mystery, I already know what happens, so it's not surprising to me. Are you going to surprise players? Like, is the twist at the end going to surprise them, or are they going to see it coming? Or do you get to the twist at the end and they have no idea what just happened, and so the twist doesn't land? And, you know, and you can only get somebody's first impression once. So you get somebody to play the quest at whatever state it's at, and they tell you what it, you know, how it made them feel. They tell you how they liked it. Did the mystery work for them? Were they surprised? And then they tell you, and some of them say yes, and some of them say no. And it's a very personal thing, so you never know. Like, is it just that person that didn't get it, or is it the quest that's a problem? Or, you know, did it just work for this person because they brought something to it themselves that let it work for them? But for the majority of people, it's not going to work. So that was always something that worried me a lot, but I've seen that people really like this quest, and it's been very satisfying, vindicating to hear people say that this is their favorite quest. And you know, sometimes my favorite quest in Cyberpunk 2077, but I've heard people say it's my favorite quest in any game ever, and that just makes my fuck with my mic. But it, you know, makes my heart swell in the good way, not the bad way that requires medical intervention. Yeah, so yeah, I love it. This is a great quest. This is a great quest. I think so.
But we need a reveal.
Yeah, for me it was like definitely one of the what the hell is happening quests. And we have a lot of those in our game, but this was like definitely the biggest WTF I had in this game so far.
One of the other big challenges for this quest that even I'm still not quite sure, because sometimes I see people post things and you know, talk about the quest, is making making sure that Elizabeth did not come off as a villain. Sometimes when working on this quest, there would be feedback from people saying, you need to do this, you need to have Elizabeth do this, you need to have this happen when you're talking to Elizabeth, or whatever. And the problem with a lot of those ideas is that they invariably lead you to the conclusion that Elizabeth is in on the conspiracy, that she is not a victim of the conspiracy herself, but she is actually part of it. And, you know, what I would want to happen is what I want you to come away with from the conversation with Elizabeth in the ramen shop is I want you to come away with a question of where the line between victim and accomplice is, right? Like, where is that? She is an accomplice to the conspiracy, but she's also a victim of the conspiracy, and that was a big challenge as well. And I think that it works, but really that's up to them to say whether or not it works or not. So, you know, I think it does.
What about Mr.
Yeah, we
Blue
have
Eyes?
a small community, maybe not that small, but actually we have a community that thinks that this is one of the best quests in the game. And did you ever think that your work will be seen that way?
No, I mean, like as I said, I had no idea that this quest was going to work at all. There's a lot of second guessing goes into making stuff like this, and like one of my other quests, I fought the law. I had a lot more confidence that that quest was just going to work. Like that quest was just going to work. I tried to leave enough stuff ambiguous that people couldn't necessarily draw all the conclusions, and I don't know if I was successful at that, but I think that even if you don't necessarily draw all the conclusions that I wanted people to, the quest itself works, and it's a pretty straightforward story that people can just get, right? There's not a lot there that I'm worried that people are going to miss or that people are going to not catch. But with Dream On, there was a big concern. I didn't know.
Well,
It's a good
worked
quest.
well
It's a really good quest.
so far. So
Fantastic.
hopefully, we'll keep that community
Fantastic.
on their toes.
Fantastic.
Maybe
You're
for
making
something.
me regret now not being a quest designer anymore. So.
Yeah, speaking of your role, right? You're
Yeah.
a French franchise and lore designer right
Yes,
now.
yes.
How did you actually decided to change from quest designer to this? Why?
Well, one of the downsides of being a quest designer, at least for me, is I'm frustrated all the time and angry all the time, and I was tired of living that way. It's not a great way to live, especially after the pandemic started, and we started doing home office. When you're at work and somebody annoys you, you keep it to yourself. You don't put that around because you're not going to be that. You don't want to be that guy.
Oh no, not the music again.
You want to be good to work with, so you keep it to yourself, even if you're just incredibly pissed off. After we went to home office and nobody could hear me complaining except my wife, I began to let that stuff out. I'd become very frustrated. Something was changing. Again, it's changing. Why is it changing? It doesn't need to change. It's good the way that it is. Or, there's a new thing to do. Or somebody didn't finish the thing that they needed to finish. And just getting angry and actually letting that shit out. I didn't like being that way. And even if we had been back in the office, having to bottle that stuff up is also really awful. And so I really wanted to change. And one of the things that I did on Cyberpunk 2077 was, in addition to making quests, I was kind of the lore guy, right? I was the guy who knew 2020, who talked to Mike Pondsmith, but I never did it full time. I never had the title. I never did it full time. It was a side gig, and it was actually a full-time job. And I was having to split my time between Quest and between this, which is one of the reasons why I was always frustrated, because I never had enough time to do either job properly. So when it came down to it, and the position, I made the position, and now I get to do that full time, and it's good. It's good. I'm not pissed off all the time, and it just makes me feel good. And I think that it's a job that's been needed for a while. So.
Yeah,
Nice.
I always remember when I needed something from someone about the lore. If I should say this way, maybe this way, or maybe I'm totally bullshitting everything. I always were going to you and Pavel Sasko. So you guys were my two favorite heroes, and not all heroes wear capes.
That's
but,
us. Yeah.
You guys were always there for. So I agree that role was needed, and I'm glad that you're this guy.
Well,
and we
thank you for coming to me. So.
We actually have a question sort of connected to this from Luke Skywalker.
Oh, Luke
We
Skywalker.
have Star Wars fan here. How did you approach changes in Night City as a setting which had to be made due to the time jumps in the world, especially from 2020 and Red to 777?
Sorry, can I read it? Sure. Yeah. Okay. You approach the changes in Night City as a well, Mike did a lot of the work for us, but blowing up Night City at the end of Cyberpunk 2020, he blew it up. So we didn't have to stick to those maps, but we never really intended to stick to those maps exactly anyway, because of course there's a change in medium, and a change in medium necessitates making a city that's fun to run around in 3D, right? You can't just take the stuff that's from the Night City source book and put it in, because it was a different different kind of thing, right? For that, you need a TTRPG, you need a clean map that you can look at, and you can find where everything is on the map, you can show it to players, and they can immediately grasp what's going on, whereas in Video Game Night City, you really want to drown people in the city. You want to grab people and put them and make them feel like they're you know, like it's really crushing them, that they're just inside that place. And really, so that's what it came down to. Is you know, he blew it up. But then we collaborated with Mike and his team to make sure that their version of the city from CYBERPUNK RED, which is, you know, it takes place in 2045, is connected to the old CYBERPUNK 2020 map, and then that bridges the gap to the CYBERPUNK 2077 map. And that was a really fun process as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can actually move forward to another quest. It's more about your life path with, you know, as a quest designer.
Yes.
If I want to become a quest designer, is it a good idea to become beginner at C++ before learning and doing portfolio with Unreal Engine and Unity?
I can't code for shit, and most of our quest designers can't code for shit. We have programmers for that. That said, don't take any career advice from me. And the reason I say that is because I got into this industry a long time ago. When I got into this industry, it was a different industry. I had a lot of advantages. The industry at that era afforded me a lot of advantages. I can script in C a little bit, and that is where I kind of got my start in Quest. And the other problem here is that quest designer means different things at different studios. It also means different things in different eras, right? Like what a quest designer is now might not be what a quest designer is in 10 years. And what a quest designer does at CDP might not be the same thing that a quest designer does at like Ubisoft. I don't know. And the requirements, some places may require you to script, I don't know any that require you to code. Like, that's not really a thing in my experience. What's important for any game developer working in any field is to know how these things work. You need to at least understand what programming is and how it works so that you can know what's possible and what's not, and how expensive certain things will be. Like, how long will it take someone to make that thing that you need them to make? Even if you don't know how to program, you need to know how to ask a programmer to do that thing, and you need to understand when they tell you, no, that's going to take me 6 months and I don't have that time.
Yep.
How can I do this more cheaply so that you can work with them to do that? So it's important to know those things. And I think especially for quest design, which exists at a nexus of all these different departments, Quest is really where the rubber meets the road. It's about the player experience. It's about what the player is what's happening for the player at any given moment, and making sure that you can put all the different parts together from the art team, from programming. You need to know how to use those tools. You need to know how to put all these things together and craft that player experience. That requires you to understand the basics of all those other fields. I don't think that, you know, like having a CS degree or anything like that is something that's really necessary for a quest designer. I don't think any of our quest designers have CS degrees. Many of them, like I said, many of them can script. I don't think any of them can actually code. But that's not career advice. Don't take any career advice from me. I don't have any for you.
How about modding? Maybe modding can help.
Modding is great. Modding is how I learned all of those things that I was just talking about, because I got to do a little bit of all of those things. I was modding in the 90s, kids. Ooh. I was modding in the 90s. It's a far, far gone era. And I got to do a little bit of all of those things. A little bit of code, a little bit of art. My art was terrible. Please don't go look at it. I got to do some sound design, some UI stuff, and all of that lets you learn how a game is made, and that's the most important thing, is to know how games are made. which can be very difficult because it's a very opaque industry. Sorry about that. Not my call.
Okay, so we can go for one more. Well, we will go through quite a lot of those questions, so don't worry. This is still my favorite game in the cyberpunk genre, and I still love this game. What advice would you give to someone who has been through the game a couple of times and wants to play again?
But
Play it again. If you're on PC, I would check out mods because those can really change the game up. I still have Skyrim installed on my computer, and every year I go back and I install hundreds and hundreds of mods. It takes me 2 weeks before the game is actually running and actually up and all the mods are installed, and then I never actually play the game. But it's fun to see what people are working on. So yeah, that would be my experience. If you're on PC, play mods, install mods, mess around with mods, maybe make your own mod. Change the game to be the way that you want it to be. Maybe you don't like how the itemization works, so change the itemization. You'll learn something. It can be fun. If you're on console, I would just suggest trying it with a different build, try it with a different path, make the opposite decision on all the quests. But I imagine you already know that, so I don't know why you need to ask me.
Speaking about paths, your V, what's the life path?
Nomad, absolutely. You get a car at the beginning, you get to drive through the desert. I love meeting Jackie. I love that jackass sheriff. He's a prick. I love the scene at the border crossing. I love all of it. I love the Nomad stuff. And I've moved around a lot throughout my life, and I've always kind of felt a kindred to the Nomads in some way. Though now, of course, I work in the marketing department, so I'm actually corpo. I'm straight up corpo now. I changed my class. But yeah, Nomad for sure, my favorite.
Okay, so we have nomads, we have the desert, we have all that stuff. What else is there for you that you consider super cool and fun in Night City and in Cyberpunk in general?
I honestly, like, my favorite thing to do in Night City is to pretty much ignore everything that's there and just drive around and listen to the radio and look at the city. I think Night City is a really unique place. It's a really cool place. I think the environment art team did a just legendary, world-class job making that city. I think even most of the critics of Cyberpunk, and there are a lot of them, would agree that it's a really landmark achievement making that city. And I like, I like feeling there. There's a kind of comfort to Night City that's hard for me to describe. It's hard for me to explain, but I have memories of being a child and being in the back seat of the car, half asleep, listening to the radio and driving through cities that I didn't know, and being on the highways and driving through the cities and driving between the cities, and that there's a very comforting quality to that. I don't think that's all there is going on there, but that's definitely something. There's a certain element of nostalgia to it. And I think, sort of making Night City and the art styles of Night City evoke a different era is part of that, is part of that way of making sure that that you get that kind of quality across, that there's this sort of ineffable nostalgia to it, this comforting quality. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it exactly.
If I would be a better driver, I'd probably do the same, but I'm horrible.
I've seen you drive in Night City, so.
Only on the bike.
Only on the bike, yeah.
So you like to drive around. Do you have your favorite spot?
My favorite spot? There's a park in Charter Hill that I really like. And I think it's near, I love those little glass cubes that you can go in and you hear the bird song piped in. That's just a great touch. I love that. All the birds in Night City are dead, but you can go into these little like nature pods and listen to bird songs.
So I'm gonna
I always thought
time you out a little bit.
I always thought that was a brilliant touch. Whoever did that, great job.
Chill out.
I really like
Chill out a little bit.
I really like Pacifica. There's a great vibe to Pacifica. It feels really cool. You get attacked all the time, but you know.
Brutal city.
Yeah, it is a brutal city. And then.
I thought I was going insane.
Yeah, okay, sure. Reconciliation Park. I love Reconciliation Park. I actually, the end of Dream On originally took place in Reconciliation Park, but there was too much other stuff going on there, so I had to move it. So I moved it to a location near Reconciliation Park that actually in the end worked out better, but yeah. So those would be my tops. Those would be my top picks.
So we have the favorite place. What about the most hated one? And what do you actually dislike about Cyberpunk?
What do I dislike about
Yeah.
Cyberpunk? I don't want to do that on the camera.
Okay.
I don't want to do that on camera. I'm not going to talk bad about anything that anybody I know worked on. But my least favorite place in Night City is Northside Industrial District. I fucking hate that place. It's covered in maelstrom. It's ugly. And I don't mean to say that the artists did a bad job. I mean, it's aesthetically I don't like it. It's unpleasant. It's a gross part of the town. So yeah. That would be my pick. The oil fields are disgusting too. They're just nasty. Just nasty stuff.
Okay.
But I used to live in Texas, and they remind me a little bit of Texas. Sorry,
Texas?
Texans. Okay, so I've lived in Texas before. I have family in Texas. I am not from Texas.
I'm just going to ban a lot of people now. I don't care anymore, really. I don't care.
Especially
I don't care.
out in the country.
2 years I'm listening
Very
to
often
people.
there are oil derricks. People have oil derricks on their land. You know, some oil company comes and says, "We're going to put an oil derrick on your land. We'll pay you to put this oil derrick on your land." And
Get away
then
from the stream.
Very often they're just
Simple as
filthy.
that.
They're just filthy, and there will be pits full of just oil laying out there, and it's nasty. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't happen these days now that they got fracking. Maybe it just goes into the atmosphere. I don't know, but yeah, it's gross. Stop with the fucking fossil fuels already. Do you know how hot you've seen me doing this? It is hot as hell in here. It is extremely hot right now.
That's true.
Fucking stop with the fossil fuels. Call your elected representatives. Do something. Holy shit. We're gonna fucking boil in our skins. Sorry, that's pretty grim.
We are gonna live in Night City sometime soon, I guess.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Let's change the subject.
Let's change the subject. Yes.
Let's talk
I
about
actually
the game,
have
huh?
a question from Kamil Cesaro. I actually remember you from all our streams, so glad to see your question.
I just want to say, this outfit is great. I love this.
So stylish.
I have glasses just like that.
I know.
I have them right over there, but I'm not gonna get them. I'd have to get off, go over there, and come back.
Speaking of glasses, Mike Pondsmith glasses are just
They're
amazing.
fantastic. He gave me a pair.
So lucky.
Yeah, E3 2018. He actually went down to Venice Beach to one of those sunglass huts and just bought all the mirror shades that he could find in a box and brought them back to the booth and was passing them out to people. And it was great. It was awesome. He's a cool dude. I really like him.
He's amazing.
Such a sweetheart too. Just really nice guy.
If I die,
Uh-huh.
please tell him to narrate my life.
Awesome.
Okay.
We'll do it. Yeah, he does have a beautiful voice. My impression, if you've never heard Mike Pondsmith, if you've never heard him, my impression doesn't even begin to do him justice. It's a parody. He has a beautiful voice. You can hear him actually on Moro Rock Radio.
Earth
in the
is
city. He
melting.
does
Yeah, it's
all of
politics, dude.
All of the
Earth is
spoken
melting.
segments.
Politics.
But yeah, coming back to the question.
Yes.
What was the hardest aspect in creating Cyberpunk 2077 from your point of view?
The hardest aspect of creating Cyberpunk 2077, the very hardest aspect. Well, without going into too many details that I shouldn't talk about on a live stream, I will say that one of the things that was a shock coming from Blood and Wine, which was a dream project in a lot of ways, like absolutely, like making Blood and Wine was some of the best times I've ever had professionally. It was a dream. We had tools that just worked, just worked. They were easy to use. They were incredibly powerful. And we knew what we were doing. We knew how to make those quests because we had made Witcher 3 and we knew how to make all of those things. We knew how to do everything. And so a lot of it wasn't, I don't want to say it was easy because it's never easy, but it worked. Everything worked. And then Cyberpunk, it wasn't like that.
Smooth.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. It wasn't like that.
He's honest.
You know, one of the things I always, if I can pick one specific thing that's a difference between making stuff for Witcher 3 and making stuff for Cyberpunk, and it's something that gets my goat a little bit. I see people online who have no idea what they're talking about, no clue, don't know anything about making games, which again, it's an opaque industry, I don't blame them for it, saying, oh, they made it in first person because it's easier than doing it in third person and they wouldn't have to animate it, and that is so much bullshit. It's so much bullshit, holy shit. Making stuff in first person with no cuts, no editing possible is so difficult, so difficult. There are so few cuts in 2077 where you know, if Geralt is talking to somebody, Geralt saying, "Oh, hey, I'm Geralt, and I hunt monsters," and then the other person like, "Yeah, there's a monster." You can actually cut that scene. You can go to black screen and despawn that guy when that scene is over, and respawn him across the map. Or you can move Geralt. Geralt, I'll go find out about it, and then you just spawn him at the cave that he needs to go to, and he's there, and you don't have to walk to the cave. And things like that. You can just use that black screen to hide so many things. More than you probably even realize is hidden behind those black screens. You can't do that on Cyberpunk 2077.
No.
You can't do it. Everything is on screen all the time. The player can look at whatever's doing. You can't use any of those tricks. So you have to make sure that when, for example, you are talking to River in the diner, you've just met River, and his detective friend gets up and walks away. You have to make sure that that guy gets up out of his chair, walks out of the diner, gets into his car, the car gets out of the driveway, which is hard to do actually, gets the AI to drive out of the driveway, drive onto the road, drive to a safe location that's far enough away that you're not going to see him despawn. And that takes a huge amount of time. It takes a huge amount of time, a huge amount of effort, and there's so many different parts of that can break. The environment changes. Now he can't make it out of the diner. What happens if the player parks their car in between where Detective Han needs to walk to get to his car? What happens if the player does that? Well, okay, now you need to move the player's car. What happens if the AI is changed, right? The AI changes, and so now you painstakingly got it so that Harold could drive his car out of that driveway, and then the AI changes, and now you have to do the whole thing over again. Incredibly time-consuming, incredibly difficult, and that is just like so much effort goes into making it first person, no cuts, no real editing. I mean, honestly, there are a few times in that quest, and I fought the law, where I do actually cut because there wasn't, like, I did not have the time to devote to making sure that River can back his truck out of that place in Cherry Blossom Market. He parks in this little area where I have the whole thing set up. Getting him to back out of there, I didn't really have time to devote to making sure that that worked and looked good. So I just cut, but we almost never do that. Yeah, so that was a long answer. It was a long answer.
Well, it was, good answer.
Well, I hope that it was informative.
It was informative.
I hope that it's informative. Like I've said, we have a very opaque industry. We don't talk about these things. And I think that maybe getting some of that information out there, and it's something that I really like about CDP, is that you allow us developers to talk. This is not rehearsed. This isn't pre-recorded. I'm just talking right now. There's no PR person standing over here who's going to, shoot me if I say anything wrong.
Obviously.
That's on me, actually.
We'll know later.
Yeah, I'll find out later. And I'll find out later. But yeah, and so I really appreciate that about CDP, that we're allowed to actually talk to people like this. Yeah, it's cool.
I'm really glad we're on the same page with this, because yes, it is sometimes frustrating that you know the answer. You would like to I don't know, give some ideas or hints, like it's not like that. It's not like I don't know, community managers or marketing person is sitting and coding and fixing bugs in a basement, right? We're actually responsible for something different than our developers, but sometimes it's better, you know.
Yeah.
I have to,
No,
walk away.
I always get annoyed when I see replies to tweets that are put out and they're like, why aren't you working on the patch? Well, folks. We are working on these things.
Here is your answer.
We are working on them. She's not working on them. She's doing other things. Leave her alone. Like, come on, grow up.
I'm
really.
working on something else.
You're
for
working
our
on something else.
community.
You're working
I'll
on the
code
patch in a different way. You're not working on bug fixes. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
True, man.
But yeah,
He's a
coming back to
community
the
manager.
pleasant things.
Of
Do you
course.
like long games or shorter games, open worlds, and so on?
I used to love 500-hour-long RPGs when I was younger. That was the shit for me. Like, that was the best. Like, that was, you only get one game a year, and you want to make that game last. And so I do appreciate those games, and I appreciate that people really like those games. I'm an adult with a full-time job and a lot of responsibilities, and I don't have time for those games anymore. So mostly what I've been into for the past decade or so is story engine games and strategy games. That's the stuff that I really enjoy the most. It's not what I want to make, but it's the stuff that I play the most. And I try to have a varied palette, because it's important to have a varied palette and to see what's going on in different sectors. And see what's going on in different companies. But like, I'm not going to name any names for reasons of professionalism, but I was playing a really cool game about Vikings that came out a few years ago. Really cool game, really enjoyed it. It's I don't know how long it is. It might be a month long. I have no idea. I asked somebody, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm at the part where the king does this, and then they're like, oh yeah, that's about 5% of the way through the game. So I stopped playing. And they've released like 4 expansions for that game since, and I'm glad for whoever is into that they have that game and they have all of that time, but I don't have that time.
I probably shouldn't say about my second career in the game that I've been for 16 years now.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time.
It is a
Games
lot
can
of
be
time.
time consuming.
Very time consuming. You watch a movie and it's over in 2 hours, 3 at the most. And you play a game and you can be playing it for a year. And I finally beat Disco Elysium, and it's the first game I've actually beaten in ages. By the way, great game. If you haven't played it, you really need to play it.
Hello? Hello? What happened?
Do this. Yeah.
Speaking
What was
of
that?
long hours in the
Yes.
games, we have a questions from VP Valentinos.
Oh, Valentino's, my favorites.
Playing for 600 hours and counting, playing since December 2020. Love this game and a lot, and I used to go by the name Kaldos. But the question for Patrick, any favorite cars
this was the
and
stream,
weapons?
not me.
Cars and weapons. I really like the Mai. That
Video
little
bug.
beep beep. I love it. I love that when you get in, it says hello, and when you leave, it says goodbye. I think it's super cute. Big fan. As for weapons, I don't know if I could pick one specifically. I like rifles, and I think the SMG. The SMGs in Cyberpunk are the first time I've ever played a game where I felt like SMGs occupied an actual role. I think that very often happens in games where you have pistols and then you have rifles and then SMGs are sort of like somewhere in there. I'm a big fan of the Carnage shotgun. It just sounds great. You hit somebody with it and they... So yeah.
I really like the very one weapon that we're not gonna talk about
we're not gonna
today,
talk about
but
today, but
it's
we'll talk
actually
about-
amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see what people can actually say after
I'm
some
excited
time.
too. After some time.
But yeah, this is wow. Okay, so speaking of favorites,
What
once
weapon?
again, favorite character from 2077 that isn't your own.
That isn't my own. Okay. All right. Favorite character. I have just a genuine soft spot for Carrie. I love Carrie. Like I just really, really dig the guy. I want to hang out with Carrie. He seems like a cool guy. So maybe Carrie. But honestly, that's just off the top of my head. If I thought about this longer, I could probably come up with better answers. He only has, oh no, but he's my character. He only,
Difficult question.
Difficult question. Difficult question. Rogue is super cool. I really like, doesn't have a lot of lines, but I really like Wayland. I really like him. He's cool. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. I like all the Aldecaldos. They're fun.
Of course.
They're fun. They're great.
I'm gonna ask you this. Is gonna be probably our last question for today, actually.
Okay.
Because I
That's
can
too
see
bad. I could do this for a while.
next time.
Next time.
Next time. Yeah.
It's almost the end.
I need more
we can
water.
see that Sebastian is already finished with the quest. He's just going.
Oh,
through
and I
some text
missed
from
it. I missed it
Panams.
the whole time. Okay.
But yeah, this was asked a few times in the chat, and I also prepared that question.
Okay.
Panam or Judy?
Oh, I thought it was going to be Mr. Blue.
Or maybe other wife or husband.
Okay, so here's how I'm going to answer this. Here's how I'm going to answer this, because everybody always says, who is best for V? Like, everybody's like, oh, who's best for V? I'm going to flip it. Who needs V the most? Who is V the most helpful for, right? Because I think something that's important for all you kids out there, in a relationship, you should always leave the other person in a better place. If that relationship ends, that person should be in a better place than when you met them. And it should be vice versa, right? Like, I think that's the essence of a healthy relationship. And I try to think of, like, who needs V the most? And I think, like, as much as I love Judy, Judy needs V the least. Judy has already buried enough people, and now is going to have to, sorry, spoilers, going to have to bury V, right? And, God, and I just think about how hard that'll be for her. I want her to go off to Oregon and hang out with her grandparents, you know, and get a fresh start. And I just think that her winding up with V in the end, it gets sad. Panam really needs a friend. I don't know if she needs a boyfriend that badly, and I don't know if she needs V as her boyfriend specifically. River's gonna be fine. Again, he needs a friend. He needs a friend more than he needs a lover. Carrie, on the other hand, he really needs V. I think Carrie really needs V. And I think Carrie is gonna be the one who is best able to cope with V's eventual death. Like, I think that Carrie's gonna be the best to cope with that. He's 80 something, he's already been through this. He's been around a long time.
And he lost Johnny.
And he lost Johnny, right? And, you know, now that you say that, like, he's gonna lose V, who was Johnny to him in some ways. But you know what? I think he's the best equipped to handle it. That's my answer, Carrie.
I can hear the cheering from our Carrie community right now.
I'll
There's
answer the
neither
questions
Panam or
after.
Judy. I can literally hear that.
After
You're
the 3 minutes.
Okay, one
About
more.
headphones and
Sure.
all.
One more.
Absolutely.
Tris or Yen? And that's
Easy.
that's gonna be me.
Yin.
Like, that's gonna be on
easy.
me.
That's
Okay.
easy. It's obviously Yin.
So
it's
we are great.
obviously Yin. Anyone who says Tris is just wrong. Just wrong. Don't at me, okay? You know it. You know it in your heart. You know it in your heart.
Yes.
You're wrong.
But Shani is
it's
the
obviously
best.
Yin.
You heard the man, right?
Come on. It's not even a question. Not even a question.
Okay, so I guess we're done for today.
We're done.
However,
Oh.
one thing that we can say, please expect some more Cyberpunk streams in the very near future. So keep your eyes open on our social channels, and maybe you will spot it, or maybe you won't miss it. Who knows? But don't miss
Edgerunners.
it. It will make us upset.
There we go.
Thank you very much for
Got some news.
for being here and to chat with me and with our lovely community. It was a real
It was a
pleasure.
joy. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
And we have to do it again.
We have to do it
sometimes.
again, but we need to get some air conditioning in.
Yes.
Yes. For sure.
Thank you very much, guys, for being today with us, for all the questions. And see you next time for another round of Gwent.
Wait.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
So, okay. So there we go. You got the actual announcement. So there's going to be a stream soon, which I think is going to be the same thing that they had with 1.5. So they're going to have a stream where they're going to talk about like what the patch is going to have, I think. So it might happen like the same thing. like it happened for 1.5. And when they say soon, I think it's going to be like when actual Edge Runners release. And if I remember correctly, Edge Runners are happening on what, 12th, 13th of September, right? So we might see something close to that date. Yeah, because whenever CDPR, and this was from the past, whenever they say like, oh, very soon, they actually mean like a few more weeks. So it could be that as we kind of thought they're going to mix Edge Runners and they're going to mix like the patch itself. There was a question about headphones. So this is the HyperX X something, and it doesn't have the, oh wait, oh yeah, it does have a wired mode. You can wire it up if you want. So there were no like big announcements, but the announcement we got was actually that we are gonna be getting a stream. And usually if they're gonna be doing a stream for a patch, this does mean that the actual patch is going to be bigger than, you know. And the thing is, like, if you were watching SteamDB, like, at least when it comes, as I said in my previous video, at least when it comes to SteamDB, this is their most tested patch behind the scenes on SteamDB. Even 1.5 wasn't tested as much as this one, 1.6, 1.8, whatever they call it. Like, there's been some people saying it might be 1.8. I'm still against naming patches like that, like 1.5, 1.8. No, just give me 1.6. They announced an announcement. yeah, basically they announced that they're going to have an announcement, but at least we kind of know what to expect from, like, before the patch. And wait, if I remember correctly, was patch 1.5 released straight after that stream, right, that they had? I don't know. Why not 2.0? Honestly, I wouldn't work for it for 2.0 until you had like a complete edition with all of the DLCs and stuff. So it could be that they're going to have a stream and then just, you know, release the patch itself. And keep in mind, this patch is going to most likely be a big one. So in terms of, like, at least the size of the patch, I would expect maybe 40-50 gigs, to be honest. Yeah, so it could be the same thing, especially prepping for Edge Runners. If they miss the Edge Runners train to announce or release 1.6, I mean, come on now. Come on. And yeah, to be honest, Edge Runners is such a big deal for them, obviously, and, you know, it's gonna be on Netflix and all that. Of course you're going to have, you know, good stream. Thank you, John. Yeah, they talked about, so there apparently, like, what was said is that there's going to be a new gun in the game. And I mean, they wouldn't really talk much about the gun if it wasn't something special. So I wonder what it is. Honestly, I would love to have a minigun, but at the same time, like, there was some comments about having a bow in the game. Honestly, I wouldn't mind to have a bow in the game, like a futuristic bow or something like that. It would be cool for, like, stealth builds or something. Let's see. Can you tell the size of the patch with SteamDB? No. I can tell you if they're gonna be doing, like, big things, if they're gonna be fixing a lot, then of course it's going to be a bigger one. It just goes from, like, the previous one, but you can't. The only thing you can see on SteamDB is the actual depots and when they were updated and so on. And there was also, like, if you go to The Witcher 3, for example, if you go to history, there was added a beta depot. Now, again, I cannot confirm if that beta depot was something else or it's maybe tied to the next gen update. A stapler gun. Hanzo build incoming. Yeah, I wonder what it is. I mean, it could be anything at this point. Like, could crossbow, bow, assault rifle, minigun, flamethrower, whatever. Like, I don't know. I'm sure it's not going to be a melee weapon. At least we'll see. I've seen, like, that when it comes to guns, I have a video that I made a long time ago when patch 1.5 came out where I actually, like, there is a way to, like, have all of the guns which were unreleased into your inventory and somewhat use them. So I have a video on that where you can actually add some of those weapons. Now I do wonder if those weapons are going to be it, but you know, they're just, you know, they're cool weapons though, which I thought they were going to be released by this time. Is Chainsaw Blade thing? That would be cool. I don't know, like I would love to see like maybe 1 or 2 more cybernetics you can like put on your like arms, for example, like having those Wolverine claws or something similar to that. It would be cool just to have more customization in that sense of like just different stuff you can put on your arms. It's going to be a musket. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I would love to see more cyberware. So what did everyone think about this? Obviously, yeah, we didn't have the actual, like, we didn't have an announcement of anything which is expected, but at the same time, like, it was still kind of fun. It was still fun to listen, and like, I like that he's brutally honest when it comes to, like, what was he working on and the problems that they had. So that's very nice to see. Yeah, the claws were in tabletop. Yeah. Like, you have a lot of cyberware from, like, the Cyberpunk 2020 book. A lot, which is really cool. I think Patrick gave some valuable insight. Yeah, I mean, Patrick is great. I mean, he did a very nice job of, like, putting, you know, just adapting the lore to fit into a video game. And it's kind of sad that we didn't get the actual, like, Black Hand in the game. Maybe we see Black Hand in the expansion, but I don't know, like, Mike Pondsmith is very protective of Black Hand. Like, he said that he was very protective of even putting or including Black Hand in the game itself, which, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, man. I would love to see Black Hand in the game because this is a soft reboot of 2020 anyway. This whole Arasaka thing, Adam Smasher, Johnny Silverhand, going through his stories. This is just a soft reboot of 2020. So it would be cool if we also got Black Hand. But it is what it is. Sun City in Pacifica, no. I mean, we'll see if they do a little bit more with Pacifica or if they're going to expand on that. There was that leak long time ago, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't trust any leaks whatsoever until I see it in person or if it's not announced officially. The city is so beautiful and so much will be unused. The thing, yeah, the thing that I already said about Cyberpunk, and especially like Night City, when it comes to detail, when it comes to layout, is amazing. The only thing it needs is just more activities around the city, you know, having those animations, especially being in the first person, you want to include as many animations as possible for drinking, eating, and all of that, sitting, so you can immerse yourself in the game, in a sense, because people have different ways of immersing themselves. So having those abilities to do some stuff within the city, you know, to go, for example, to a place you can eat, and it does a full animation. That's basically like what I think would be beneficial for open world segment of Night City, because there's a lot of things you can see, but not a lot of things you can interact with. And the problem with some things in this game, like for example those arcade machines, is that they're so detailed that you think they're going to be usable, but they're not. I mean, obviously with the mods, like, you can play those games now on those machines, on arcades, but not in the vanilla. Casinos, yeah, there was a casino, like basically like concept, and you can actually find that casino outside if you can just, you know, go around to the Badlands, and then you have to navigate a little bit to that place. It's in the game, like, but it's not usable at all. It's still left there, and I maybe they're going to like make that place alive, you know, in the future. It could be, but at the same time, you know, I don't know. I cannot obviously confirm that not being in CDPR and all, contrary to what people think I work. Cyberpunk Red Sourcebook. Cyberpunk Red Sourcebook is great, if you were thinking about that. Oh, the Black Dog storyline. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Like, the thing is, we don't even know if the first or the only expansion for Cyberpunk is going to have V as a character. Because there has been some hints that it's going to be a totally different character, totally different story within Night City. I don't know if that's true, although that's the thing. Also with locked doors, that's the problem. When you go to a certain place in Night City and you do a quest there and you finish, most of those places are going to be closed and kind of unusable, which I think is bad. You know, just make those places open and give the player ability to go in and interact, because that's what draws that immersion. Because when you're going through the missions, you don't want to just move out and do missions, obviously. I don't know, like I haven't, like the tab in my inventory where you can eat and drink, I don't know if I like been 20 times in that inventory screen. For me, I don't know if this is just for me. Food, alcohol, whatever, which is in the backpack, was unusable, or I didn't use it. Sometimes I'll click it, it doesn't do an animation, whatever, and that's about it. I didn't have any need to use that screen. And I think it could have benefited more if you had full animations of that, you know, thing. I don't know, that's just me. Yeah, the casino building is pretty much included. Can someone clarify, when you complete the quest, the area remains empty? Some areas remain empty, some areas are still, like, obviously Afterlife is always going to be populated. Some areas, they do get locked out, or you don't have anything on that. For example, a little bit of a spoiler, but I won't spoil it. The quest that you go with River, at the end, you know, you go to that place, and then all of that happens. I actually went back to it, and everything was locked out completely. Because I wanted to go in and do stuff. Like, obviously, you can do it through a mod, but without the mod, everything is locked out. And I don't know, there is no sense that something happened there. That's the thing, my man. Performance reasons, you know, it has nothing to do with performance reasons, and if you can open it and just have an already included building. It doesn't have everything, it doesn't need to have every building, obviously. That's impossible to have every building you can get in. But having those buildings closed, it's not, like, that's not it. When does the event start, my friend? The event ended 10 minutes ago. We are now after the event. Yeah, the nightclubs especially, you can't enter them again. I mean, obviously some you can, but yeah. Did they add police in the patch? Who knows? This boy is boring, man. I'm gonna ban you, pretty much, and you can just go. I don't know, like that's the thing. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, doing these streams, I do them because I like to interact with the community. So when someone comes and they're like, why are you doing these streams? Like, what do you expect me to have a conversation with you, to explain why I do streams, to hang out with the community? That's why I do it. So, you know, I don't know. So it gets frustrating that for 2 years I'm still going through same things every single time. Every single time you start the stream, it's always the same comments, same questions. It's annoying. I'm gonna be honest, it's annoying. It became very annoying, to the point where I'm gonna start muting people who just repeat the same thing over and over, because I've seen a few people in the channel, and it's just the same thing. Every single time I upload, there is going to be complaining, and it's annoying. 2 years, man, 2 years. 2 years. I don't know. And then, I don't know, like, why do these streams? It's such a dumb question. It would be the equivalent of finding an event, entering that event and saying, why are you guys doing this event? Why are you guys doing this? And then leaving. That's pretty much what it sounds like. And it's just annoying, man. It's impossible to hold anymore, like. Because I legit wanted to stop doing YouTube when Cyberpunk came out. because whenever I try to do a video about anything lore, just the same comments. It's almost like you're going to change something if you comment under my video in terms of like, when is this going to, what is this? Oh my god, blah, blah, blah. Not regular, but you're doing a great job. Thanks, Andrea. I try. What are those buckets? This is G Fuel, so just go if you want. Code LKM, you get a discount. And there was a comment and question about giveaway, G Fuel giveaway. I cannot promise it, but I'll try to come up with something. I'm not sponsored. I'm affiliated with G Fuel, which is totally different. Totally different. Let's see. I'm glad you had this little rant. I mean, the thing is, like, that's the thing, you know, it's sometimes, I don't have a problem. That's the thing. I don't have a problem with, you know, criticism of the game. I don't care. I mean, I'm not the CEO of CDPR. Whatever happens to them, you know, I feel bad for developers, but whenever, you know, you got people repeating the same thing over and over again, it's just annoying, dude. It's annoying. And especially for 2 years, it's the same question. It's wild, man. It's wild. Yeah, I'll continue to do Cyberpunk videos, obviously. Like, I'll see if oh my god, here is the bot again. You see, but this time, the bot cannot comment. There's an 8-second pause. It's not even the haters. Like, I don't really consider that, oh, he's a hater, whatever. I don't care about that. Like, that's not relevant to me at all. But I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I usually lurk around your streams, but for whatever reason, I really like your videos. Thanks. You know, I try to be as objective as I can in my videos to kind of show you two sides of like what's good, what's bad. Because if I just talked about good things and I didn't criticize the game, or I just talked about bad things and I didn't like say about the things I like within any game, I would be lying to you, and that's not something I want. I don't want to just like make a video and go through Reddit and go through comments and see what people are saying and only talk about the most like popular comments that people have. So you're gonna have people that are gonna change their opinion just because they don't want to say something because they're afraid whatever people are going to criticize them. No, I'll say what I mean, you know. I'll say if I like something, I'll say if I dislike something. I think that's fair. CDPR are terrified announcing anything right now. I mean, yeah, there is gonna be a PR problem if you announce something and that something is not, you know, good. So you have to be careful. They have to be careful right now. Would be cool if YouTube implemented an AI that reads the comments user makes, found out the bots and get them banned. Well, it's kind of easy to get that. I'm looking forward to a second playthrough of Cyberpunk. Just haven't started yet. Yeah, we're gonna have a full walkthrough on the channel. I'll probably stream that, like a full walkthrough, but that's after the patch. Because it's going to break all of my mods, and I want to have a modded... when I have a modded playthrough. Oh no, I mean, they're careful, but they're also terrified. I mean, keep in mind, like, imagine how many comments they get on their social platforms. A lot. So it can be pressure. It can definitely have that pressure. What are you most expecting or hoping to get after the release the patch besides more alive Night City weapons or AUGs? Well, they already said transmog, but I mean, transmog is okay, but definitely not the most important feature for me. What would I like? I don't know. I would like to have more interactions outside, like in Night City itself. I don't know how easy it would be for them to do a wanted or a police system. because this one is okay, but you know, it is what it is. But I don't know, like, I don't even know, like, what I want. I just want more content. I want more gigs. That's what I want. I want more gigs and maybe a little story to play. For me, that would be cool. You talked to us about Cyberpunk in a better way. CDPR, man, thank you. I mean, look, when it comes to developers in general, like, they're gonna have PR, like, even like what Patrick said, like, as a developer, you cannot really talk about anything, because keep in mind, you're still under NDA. Not full NDA, but NDA. And at the same time, it's ultimately up to the management. Like, you're gonna have developers pitch something, they're gonna say, okay, we want to have, let's say, metro system. And they pitch it, and the management is like, nah, that's going to be above the budget, we don't have enough time, we have to focus on these things, and then you as a developer, you have to work on that. It's ultimately the top people, you know, the upper management, which makes all of the final decisions. It's just how it is. But they started listening to the developers a bit more now, which is good. That's why they allowed for the only expansion to be delayed into 2023, which is good, If this expansion came out and it was broken, man, I just hope that the expansion is going to have a good release and it's not going to have issues, it's not going to bug out, it's going to be, you know, that's the only thing I want. What kind of life path would you like to see added? I don't want to see life path added. I want, like, that's also one of my criticisms with Cyberpunk, is that you don't really have life paths influence your playthrough that much unless it's Street Kid. It's always going to be Street Kid. You're always going to end up role-playing a Street Kid. And I wished that there was a more of that. If I'm a corpo, I want to be a corpo. I want to screw over other corpos and be the top corpo. The top G. For all of you Andrew Tate fans. The top G. And especially, like, for example, Nomad. Like, Nomad is okay because you have that whole, you know, Pan Am story and everything happening outside. But I just wish that those life paths were more fleshed out, that they make you, like, play as a corpo or more as a nomad. But it always kind of ends up being the same. At least that's what I noticed. Because ultimately, if you play the tabletop RPG, all of those life paths are very different. You act as a different person. And that's kind of, because every single time, even as a corpo, I'm going to be, okay, I'm making a Street Kid decision. Or what if I want to be the top in organization? That's something, like, for example, which New Vegas had. New Vegas was perfect in that. You want to take over by yourself, you can do it. You want to eliminate certain factions, you can do it. You want to join certain factions, you can do it. That's the thing. That's what I kind of, that's my criticism about those things. Top V. Yeah, so, I mean, listen, Night City, Punk. When it comes to other content creators, at least when it comes to Neon and Mad Queen, like, at the end of the day, like, they were also disappointed. Like, they didn't cut, you know, doing videos because, you know, all of the release was all over the place. And I mean, you won't have all of the people which are going to continue, because at the same time, I've been a YouTuber for almost, it's gonna be 10 years now. And I was never a specifically Cyberpunk channel, because I also covered Witcher, Fallout, and I would always find a different game. But because they were the ones focusing on Cyberpunk, I think they were also kind of disappointed with everything which happened, and they just continued on their own, you know, they just continued in their own way. It just, I miss the podcast as well, but I'm pretty much the last from that podcast. Alchem, do you think that they will add things just for next-gen consoles? And, like, that's the thing, like, when it comes to the Witcher 3 upgrade, I think the DLCs, the Netflix DLCs, they might appear on PlayStation 4. I don't know that. And Xbox One. It's not confirmed though. But everything else, I'm pretty sure that's only going to be for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. Yeah, I mean, even Neon, I believe, was kind of disappointed in everything, you know, because at the same time, like our podcast group was actually hit by a lot of I'm not going to say haters again. I hate that word. Oh, he's a hater, but just every single video was filled with comments, just people saying like crazy things, dude. Crazy things. And for me personally, it's important to like say all of the, as I said, say all of the bad things that the game has, say all the good things the game has, because ultimately that's how you move forward. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the game. I mean, I was disappointed by performance, but don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Cyberpunk. The review I made when Cyberpunk came out, I still stick to it. I like the game. Obviously, it has major technical issues that hindered the experience, and the first experience is extremely important. And like, if you want people to fully immerse in the game, and for example they were playing on PlayStation 4 and they were having all of those issues and bugs and performance issues, you cannot immerse yourself with the game and you cannot get to know the game. And that's, first impressions matter a lot. And also insane hype, dude. Also, I think Rockstar is now in the same position. I don't know how people don't say that, see that. Rockstar is now in the same position as pre-Cyberpunk. Because now people are having these crazy expectations about GTA 6, and I really hope Rockstar does it and pulls it off in the end. I mean, Rockstar is great, but I hope this, because if you think the backlash for Cyberpunk was big, imagine if GTA 6 has issues, God forbid. But imagine if that happens. That's going to melt the internet, dude. I'd give Cyberpunk a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, 8. I would give it 8. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I would just give it because it's having those technical issues, and that's the worst thing. Like, just the engine is just all over the place. Yeah, hype is nuts. And also have to realize that hype is also fueled by media. Because whenever you have anything about GTA 6, like let's say, or Cyberpunk prior to release, everyone was jumping on it. Obviously, I as a YouTuber did, but you also had a bunch of articles coming out every single hour about the game. Why? Because first of all, games like GTA generate traffic, huge traffic. So you want to have that title and you want to have that article that people are going to click on and they're going to like read stuff. And during that, you can also end up with a lot of misinformation, which was the problem for Cyberpunk sometimes. You know, obviously the management wasn't helping because they were saying all of those things. Oh yeah, it's running surprisingly well, blah, blah, blah. And then on top of that, you also have media running that, presenting some misinformation sometimes, and then it just goes all over the place. I hope they learned their lesson as well, Nico. I really do hope. I really do hope. I really do hope. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, the only reason why I wouldn't give it, 9 or 10 is just because some things that could have been, done on that sense. Yeah, there were some features which were from the leaks. Like, for example, there was the spider bot. Actually, it was revealed on one of our podcasts that the spider bot has been removed long time ago. But even then, you still had people running with the story that spider bot is going to be in the game. There was no information about Witcher 3 Next Gen, my friend. Yeah, the launch was very rough. If Cyberpunk released with like patch 1.5 performance, I think it would be much better reception, because you would actually get people, involved in the game. They wouldn't have insanely, let's say, bad performance, so they would be able to include themselves. Just like while running, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wish wall running was still a thing. I wish. That was cool. That was cool. Individually, they probably did learn. I mean, they have to learn, because keep in mind, like, their biggest revenue stream is still The Witcher 3. There is no denying that. That's what gives them money. Like, that's one of the biggest things. But they know, like, that revenue stream is going to dry out, and Cyberpunk is gonna keep making money, but it's not going to make The Witcher 3 kind of money. So now with the next Witcher, they know they have to, like, do they have to make it good, because the games they make being expensive, they have to get that money back. I mean, they did with Cyberpunk. They got their money easily, but now in the future, it's going to be interesting how many pre-orders they have, how many game copies they sell. But ultimately, if the game is good in the end, the game is good in the end. That's all that matters. Nothing before that matters. All of the trailers, gameplay, nothing. When the game comes out, if that game is good, it's good. Do you think that the next gen version of The Witcher 3 will come after the Cyberpunk? No, The Witcher 3 is coming first right now in the fourth quarter of 2022, and the expansion is coming out in 2023. Don't expect miracles and you'll never be disappointed? Yeah. Was something announced? They basically had an announcement for an announcement that they're going to have a stream soon about Cyberpunk, so most likely the next patch, like they did with 1.5. Yeah, pre-ordering games today is honestly a huge risk. It's different for me being a YouTuber. I kind of have to, so I can test the game. But pre-ordering games today is a bit of a risk. Is a bit of a risk, not gonna lie. I'm against pre-ordering games. Like, I'm against, for example, what Harry Potter game is doing now, is where if you pre-order like some deluxe edition, I believe you're going to get 72 hours in the game before release. I hate that. I hate when they give you access early just because you paid 100 euros or $100. I hate that. Is that Johnny in the background? Yeah, this is the Pure Arts Johnny Silverhand statue. Unreal Engine 5. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how the next Witcher game looks in Unreal Engine 5, because that's going, like, every single engine is different and it's going to feel different from Red Engine. But how is it going to be? You know, that 722 early access is just BS marketing. Yeah, I mean, I hate that. I hate that. But one thing I do like, if there is one thing I do like about CD Projekt, at least when it comes to like pre-order, you didn't have any bonuses. Well, you did have bonuses, but you didn't have like different like editions of the game. And also, like, CDPR's games don't have any DRM protection, so they're not like, you can technically, they can be immediately pirated immediately. Also, notice wise, do not pirate anything, it's illegal. Epic won the corporate war. Too much positive thinking can be toxic. If you don't have high hopes for something, when it goes bad, you will not be as let down. It's important to stay objective. Pretty much. Yeah, I'm gonna do a full playthrough of Cyberpunk, but that's when the patch drops, because I want to have the patch drop, reinstall my mods, and then do like the playthrough itself. Man, I remember when oh, okay. Oh, we were talking about different older games not having expansions. Yeah, I mean, older games had expansions, but when older games came out with the expansion, they came out with the expansion. And that's also a positive thing about The Witcher, for example, because both of those expansions were expansions. Not some small DLCs, but full on, like, trust me, Blood and Wine, if it was Ubisoft, that would be a sequel. 100%. I think Hellblade 2 is going to give it a good idea what's possible with UE5. Not sure Hellblade will be open world. Yeah, I don't know if Hellblade will be open world, but I am very excited about Hellblade. Hellblade 1 is a fantastic game. What's my top 3 mods for what? For Cyberpunk? For Cyberpunk, it would be AMM. Huh. Well, I'm thinking. Besides, I mean, AMM would be definitely the first one. An ability to shoot from the vehicle, that's cool. Metro mod would also be like number 3. Sigur, I mean pre-order bonus. I wish that The Witcher had like mods on consoles as well. CyberEngine tweaks, yeah. CyberEngine tweaks allowed for a lot of other mods to be implemented. So CyberEngine tweaks is amazing if you want just the basis and then to mod on top of that. Yeah, Cyberpunk Cyberpunk has a lot of mods, but I would definitely like the best mod by far for me when it comes to The Witcher, and the one which I think took a lot of time, is Hulk Hogan's texture pack. It's insane. And also there is the Witcher 1 prequel. I think it was done in The Witcher 3. So the Witcher 1 intro segment was redone in The Witcher 3. You can download that mod. UE5 seems built for large gaming environments. Yeah, it on Unreal Engine 5, it's very easy to expand that environment. Although I'm not sure how is that going to hold out generally, like with the frame rate, because I am afraid of how frame rate is gonna be working on those titles. But it all comes down to optimization. Like that's just the thing. Flying cars and companions from CyberEngine. Yeah, I forgot. Like flying cars, definitely. The companion system for robots as well. The companion system from CyberEngine, where you can just spawn people and they can fight with you, add them weapons and all. That's cool. Is there someone who will test Cyberpunk update on PlayStation 5? Well, I mean, I have a video on PlayStation 5 where I play Cyberpunk. It was good. Like I didn't have any problems, playing Cyberpunk on PlayStation. Did you play Matrix demo? Yeah, that was amazing. Rebuy the game? Which one? Luckily, you don't have to pay for the Witcher 3 upgrade if you already have The Witcher. That's cool. That's nice. Like I think that's a very positive thing for CD Projekt, just to give some free stuff for the community. Have I played Deus Ex? Which one is the best to play? I played all of them. I mean, I'm conflicted with Human Revolution and the first Deus Ex, the classic one. Because the classic Deus Ex was ahead of its time. The RPG, the story segments in the original Deus Ex were top of the line. Creme de la creme of what an RPG should be like. That's what original Deus Ex is. And also, I mean, Human Revolution and Mankind. Like, Human Revolution, definitely great. Mankind Divided had some issues, but still amazing. PlayStation, yeah. Actually, like the after 1.5 PlayStation, if anything, had like has a lot less bugs than PC, for example, right now. But at the same time, look, I play with a lot of mods on my PC, so sometimes I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if it's a game bug or maybe my mod was bugging out, because that also can happen sometimes, especially when you're modding in Cyberpunk. Mankind Divided, indeed. Silent Hill, yeah. Pay for 60 FPS and better features on Series X. Yeah. Wait, yeah, that's the thing. Like, honestly, like the GTA remaster that they did for GTA 5, that should have been free. Do you think they'll put Witcher 1 on consoles eventually? Like, I'm sure that one day someone from their management is going to say, let's remaster or remake, in this sense, Witcher 1. Because honestly, remaking Witcher 1 in the future would be really cool. Really cool. Because you can remake The Witcher 1 in Unreal Engine 5. You can forget about Red Engine, which is automatically going to help you, and you don't have to worry about potential issues of Red Engine. So maybe. I don't mean about GTA Mobile, I just mean about GTA 5 remaster, enhanced. What I don't even remember what was the name of that thing. Yeah, Witcher 1, Witcher 2 were great. Yeah, I honestly, like, when it comes to vibes, Witcher 1 is the GOAT when it comes to vibes, Witcher vibes. Like, outside of Vizima, inside of Vizima, the swamps in the Witcher 1, just amazing atmosphere. Amazing. Yeah, I mean, they're going to remake Witcher 1 more than they're going to remake Witcher 2, to be honest. And it's also nice that, you know, The Witcher 1, you know, it's done in a different engine, in Aurora engine, so, you know, they don't have to, like, if they do that, they have to do a full remake from the ground up, which would be cool. But I really enjoyed Witcher 1. It's a bit problematic to play with combat. You know, it's clicky, but at the same time, it's doable. All right, so I'm gonna be leaving now. I have to go eat something, and I'm gonna start working on some videos because I'm still working on the Witcher lore videos. That takes time because you know, just takes time to edit and record everything and do those cinematic shots, but I'll get it out, don't worry. Cyberpunk will not get multiplayer. So the thing with that is that Cyberpunk 2077, or this version, is never getting multiplayer because this version of the game doesn't have any DRM protection. You need to have server verification, authentication if you want to have multiplayer. But I wouldn't exclude for Cyberpunk to have multiplayer in the future. They want to do it. They want to, because that brings money, my friend, and you're going to get it. And they started hiring as well for multiplayer a lot. Witcher 1 signs are also incredibly broken, yeah. Yeah, so thank you all for coming. I'm sorry again for not having sound at the beginning, glad that was fixed. It annoyed me a lot, I'm gonna be honest, that was kinda annoying because every time I go live something happens and I thought it was going to mess up the stream a lot, but we got that fixed. Bon appetit from France. Oh man, I need to go to France to eat some food, man. You got some good food there. Alright. It doesn't need multiplayer, but it doesn't mean they won't include it. Alright. See you everyone, have a great day. Have a great night, have a great morning wherever you're watching from. I wish you all the best. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter and Discord. And also, if you want to support the channel extra way, I do have a Patreon. And again, LKM G Fuel code if you want a little discount on your purchase. And I'll try to see if I can organize a giveaway. Tim, thank you so much for joining the channel. Thank you so much for your donation. All right. I'll see everyone. Bye-bye.